Woo woo. Yeah. All right, we are streaming. We're streaming and creaming and dreaming. All right. Getting a drink. Wetting the whistle for this lovely stream we're about to do. This lovely late night, undershirt, black undershirt stream. What up, guys? What up? All right, let me tweet out this stream right now. Let me also check. It's so dark in here. I can't see where my phone is. Can't see where my there's my phone. There's my phone. Let me tell everyone on Instagram this shit is going down too. I don't think have I updated my story today? A few times. So this people should see this. Hey everyone. Hey, hi, hey. Anthony Fantano here. You know who it is. Doing a little Q&A live stream over on the main channel. It's going to be a charity live stream with proceeds going to No Kid Hungry, impromptu COVID school closure, and just general like life economy shutting down, type of live stream. Again, proceeds No Kid Hungry. Look up that organization if you just want to give to them directly, but if not, all super chat money will be going to the No Kid Hungry. Cool. All right, cool. See you there. Bye. All right, so if it was not already apparent, this is a little charity stream, impromptu charity stream that I'm doing with proceeds again going to No Kid Hungry. Look, guys, all super chat money that I get off this stream will be going to that. The link to the organization is down below as well if you just want to give straight to them, because YouTube does take a chunk of the super chat money. So if you do want to give them directly, I do implore you to do that as well, if that's kind of the direction you want to go in. That's cool. But if you want to give a little something over here, just to sort of get like a question, and I'll take as many questions as possible. And look, guys, I mean, this COVID thing is no joke. I mean, I'm not going to, sort of like rattle off all the statistics and possibilities of what could happen to you if you end up catching it or contracting it or giving it to someone else. But what I will say is that, the real life effects of this are already being felt, even if most people don't have it yet. And, that means things like school closures. And unfortunately, we live in a country where quite a few people, quite a few kids who go to their, everyday grade school, the meal that they will get at that school will be the only meal they get that day, one of maybe two meals they get that day. So as a result of these closures, a lot of kids going hungry. And No Kid Hungry, along with a lot of other organizations as well, but No Kid Hungry specifically is trying to kind of close that meal gap for these kids who are not getting these meals that they would otherwise get. So if you guys end up giving like a $5 super chat, but you go to the No Kid Hungry site and you give a donation over there, maybe tweet it to me or something. I'll retweet it. I'll thank you. I'll shout you out or something. That's and then you give a super chat over here, just a small one to sort of get a question in. That would probably be the best way of going about this. But try to give. If you do have some extra money in your pockets, think about others, and anybody whose super chat just disappeared, I will try to get to it. Hey, big fan. What's your all-time favorite scores and soundtracks? I'm more of like an Ennio Morricone kind of guy, Vangelis kind of guy. Those are some of my favorite, soundtrack artists anyway. And, their classics are, the spaghetti westerns and frickin' Blade Runner and Chariots of Fire are all pretty obvious. Let's move on to, hey, Melon, love the content, currently stuck at work, but there's something for the charity stream. By the way, Little Peeps, come over when you're sober deserves at least a 6. At least, I mean, if we make it through this thing, I will reconsider my score. If we make it through this. Shabaka and the Ancestors review when? It is on my calendar to listen to this coming week, so I am heavily considering it. Preferred Desert Island record, Remain in Light or Kid A? Remain in Light. That's an easy one. I do love Radiohead, though, but I'm much more of a Talking Heads guy. Hi, Anthony. Ow! Tyler, thank you for the 20. We're still doing the ows, even though it is a charity stream. Hi, Anthony. Hope you are healthy and doing well. I am doing okay right now. What are some artists that you would recommend for someone getting into industrial music? Some Nine Inch Nails, KFMDM, Ministry, definitely Ministry. I suppose you could also get into some of the older, weirder, more abstract stuff, like the what the fuck is going wrong with my brain right now? I remember the titles of at least a few of their records, and of course, Throbbing Gristle is who I want to point out. Also, Killing Joke. Killing Joke is another band that you definitely need to hear. I'm going to stop because I will continue listing bands all day, but definitely Killing Joke. Why don't you like Man Alive by EE? Also, can we see your dog? My dog is not here right now. Man Alive I just thought was okay. It was not as adventurous a record as their previous ones, which I thought I had made pretty clear in the or am I confused right now? Let me double check here. Man Alive album. Yeah, okay. I thought I had the right album there. Yeah, I just didn't think it was very adventurous in comparison with their other records, which I made pretty clear in the review. Thoughts on Sun Lux or Adult Jazz's Gist Is. I'm not really a Sun Lux guy, and the Adult Jazz record I think has a great vibe to it, but it is a little redundant in my opinion. Kelsey, thank you for the cute little gift there. I didn't even know you could do that with Super Chats. Favorite Ramones album? Probably Rocket to Russia. Also, you should stream more during these trying times. I will try to. Maybe I'll do another stream next Friday. I was hoping to stream actually earlier today, but maybe get on a daytime stream schedule, but things are kind of hectic over here right now. I'll try. Which one are you going to do first? The Cure Worst to Best or the Smiths Madness Bracket? Probably Cure Worst to Best would be more likely, but I guess we'll see. How do I feel about Jack Stauber? Good YouTuber, good content creator. I think songs by themselves are okay, but with the visual components are really fun and entertaining. Melon, just want to say you've introduced me to so many amazing artists, the songs over the years. What are your thoughts on Deftones' White Pony? I think it's an alt metal classic, frankly. I mean, I grew up during a time when that record was pretty popular and liked a lot of the new metal bands who their fans kind of crossed over into as far as like following at the time too. So, I mean, I was very much, sort of in the midst of it, I guess you could say in a way. And, it's classy. The production is great. The songwriting is quality. It's not overly angsty and just like trying to like plug into something like really lowest common denominator like so many other bands did who were in that style. I mean, they're one of the few groups of that era that kind of aged really well. So even if I do think their 2000s stuff, a lot of it is just like, okay, they aged, their classic shit has aged really well. Moving on from there. Hi, Anthony, got that one. True fans know Anthony doesn't like the Grateful Dead. What music have I listened to? Cornell 77. I haven't really gotten into the Grateful Dead. I mean, it's not that I don't so much hate them or anything, but it's not something that in passing I've found all that interesting. And they have so much music though. I feel like I haven't really assessed their catalog and even sort of like, the bootleg and the live catalog either to really kind of like say whether or not I think they're terrible. But I don't know. I guess I'll let you know if that ever changes. But Franklin, thank you for being generous. What are your thoughts on Block Party Silent Alarm? I think it's a really good dance punk, post-punk album. That's a sound from the 2000s I wish more bands kind of like did awesome stuff with. I mean, Block Party was great, LCD Sound System was great, and there were some other good groups too, but I think it's a real fucking tragedy that Block Party wasn't able to kind of keep the momentum going in a way. I think it's one of the best alt-rock albums of the 2000s, best drums on it. The drums are fucking good. Like the drum production is so crisp and so goddamn like high def, it's amazing. But yeah, I mean, given that it is kind of like a very punky, dancey record, you kind of want the drums to be incredible. I remember seeing you review Good Kid, Mad City and also saw your review on Denzel Curry's Imperial. Do you think that Denzel could or is reaching Kendrick's status in hip hop? I think with another record that is like as conceptual as Taboo, but even better in some way, shape, or form, yeah, he could easily be on Kendrick's level. But the thing about what also got Kendrick to his level is that he has a lot of commercial appeal too, and I think Denzel Curry has a degree of that. But you know, he needs a big fucking like radio type of single. Not that a single on the radio would blow him up, but a single that is quality, that is great, that doesn't suck, that isn't cheap, but also could be palatable to a radio type audience is exactly what he would need to kind of get on that Kendrick level, because Kendrick does that, you know, with each project. He does that on All Right. He does that on Humble. He does that on Swimming Pools. You know, he does that. Your Wikipedia page says that you are from French-Canadian descent. That is true. Am I familiar with French-Canadian music? I'm not very familiar with a lot of French-Canadian music, no. There's some pretty good bands over here. Anthony@theneedledrop.com is my email. Send me some. Opinion on the new Young Gravy record. Is that the one he dropped last year? I thought the one he dropped last year was okay. It had some decent tracks on it, but I guess I was trying to figure out, like, how serious is it? How much of a joke is it? Maybe he's just one of these artists of a new generation that just kind of like, you know, you got the meme juice in your blood, no matter, you know, how serious you are. So, you know, that's like gonna kind of poison anything you do to maybe be a little mimetic in a way. But I don't know. I think he's got some personality and he's got a standout voice, but there wasn't a lot in terms of like songwriting and production that was blowing me away. Thoughts on the posthumous albums, just in general, and I heard Michael Jackson's Escape. Not the whole thing. I heard enough of that record to know it was like kind of trash. If I recall correctly, I remember not reacting well to it. But posthumous albums generally, I don't have a problem with. I just think they're treated like really shittily a lot of the time, you know, not released in like the best faith. What artist would I most want to do an Unsolved Mysteries podcast with? I have no idea. I would have to think about that. Maybe someone who's into conspiracies. Maybe Immortal Technique. Hey Anthony, love from Ireland. How excited am I for I'm excited for any Perfume Genius record. Thank you. Coming in May, which is my current favorite of Perfume Genius's albums? I think No Shape is maybe my favorite right now. I mean, I do love Put Your Back Into It. I do love how simple that record is and how stark that record is, but I think the lush and varied production all over No Shape is kind of like, you know, gives it the edge. Put Your Back Into It. I mean, it's kind of a heat between No Shape and Put Your Back Into It, honestly. Love You Melon, love you back. Ow! Thank you for the 20. If I could rescore Speed and Bullet to Heaven, would I? As of right now, no. I don't think I would. But, you know, I think it was enough just to say, like, there are albums that came out over the past decade that are worse. I mean, I did revisit it and I was like, yeah, I don't like this. And this is, like, not very good. But I think Cudi put some heart into the record. And that's certainly better than a corny-ass album like Supermarket. Voice Machine. Hey, Anthony, I've been listening to your music for a while. Was wondering if I could give my music a listen. I work with IDM and breakbeats. I would love to hear Anthony@theneedledrop.com. That's my email. I'm not crazy into a lot of newer breakbeat stuff, as I tend to find it very derivative, but if you feel like you have an interesting approach to it, send it over. I've not listened to the new Soccer Mommy, never been a fan, didn't really like the last record either, and I didn't really like any of the teasers to the new one, but maybe I will get around to listening to it eventually, because it might make it into a Why You Know review. I guess we'll see. Come on, stop disappearing. Thank you. Is Choker someone you have on your radar? Yes, I think he's kind of Frank Ocean-ish, but maybe a little bit experimental and lo-fi, but the songs are kind of meh. Honey Bloom is one of my favorite albums in recent memory. I'm not crazy about Honey Bloom, but I do sort of see the appeal if that's kind of your mood. All right, moving. I hate that. YouTube, why? Rose, thank you. Opinion on Rob Thomas's early work. I don't like what qualifies as Rob Thomas's early work. I really enjoy his first solo album. I have not listened to the solo record. I mean, I was listening to the radio frequently when Matchbox 20 was like the biggest fucking band in the world, and at least in terms of like mainstream appeal and play, there was a point at which they were. And I mean, I liked some of their singles, but I was never a Matchbox 20 guy. Their later work. Yeah, I mean, I never really got into Matchbox 20 beyond their most mainstream shit. So I can't really assess like later works, Rob Thomas's, solo stuff. And I find that song with Santana annoying as fuck. But anyway, Melissa, thank you. Melanie Bologna, thank you. Numberoni, love you. Also, please give me a J-Rock or a J-Punk recommendation for reference. I love Chai. Devo says hello. Yeah, Chai is pretty cool. They're great and hella underrated. One more question. What's the difference between an artist wearing their influence on their sleeves versus an artist blatantly ripping an artist off? Where do you draw the line? Well, they're not mutually exclusive necessarily. An artist who is ripping an artist off is also kind of wearing their influences on their sleeves. It's really more of a matter of, are you ripping an artist off just blatantly and not doing anything creative with the sound that you're borrowing from, or are you doing your own twist on it? You know what I mean? And I think the line between that is pretty clear, though I would need to think of two. Well, obviously, Greta Van Fleet is the clear example of the band that's just a ripoff, and then I would say a group or an artist that is like clearly borrowing from somebody but is a lot less obvious is maybe, for example, if you know the work of Arthur Russell, you kind of can pick up just about everywhere that like Caribou borrows shit from him. Just to think of like, something off the top of my head, but Caribou does fairly creative things with the shit that Arthur Russell kind of pioneered in his music. So. And there's probably a ton of other, also Sun and Earth, two amazing example. Sun, obviously, like stealing tons of ideas from Earth, but vastly different sound, band, albums. Great example. Thank you, Anthony. I was wondering what your opinion is on Taking Back Sunday. That is like an era of, or sort of like a style of emo and post-hardcore I just do not like at all. I know they weren't as big as they were when Tell All Your Friends came out, but Louder Now is a personal favorite of mine. Yeah, I've never been a Taking Back Sunday guy. That style of emo and post-hardcore just like makes me wince. Would I prefer Dookie or Black Parade? Probably. That's a good question. I might say Dookie, but just for nostalgic purposes, because that was one of my first tapes when I was a kid, and I loved the fuck out of it. Thoughts on Mavi? Have I listened to Sun Talk? Yeah, I mean, people get mad at me about this, but I think it just sounds way too much like Earl, personally. Maybe the next record will be more original. I'll be hearing it. Will I do a review of the new J Balvin album? I have no plans to do so right now. It might end up in a Why review. I've been hearing it's not all that great anyway, though. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm going to try to spend the next week balancing out my review schedule with stuff that I am a little more interested in personally, as I have not personally heard a track from Balvin's catalog thus far that I even thought was all that great. I think he has that track with Rosalia, though, that I thought was good, but haven't heard whole lot of solo stuff. Whereas I wasn't anticipating to love the new Bad Bunny or really even like it all that much, but I gave it a try and was kind of surprised by it. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. What's my favorite Mars Volta album? I think right now it's probably Francis, as that's one of the more jazz fusion-y records in their catalog. The performances on that one I think are pretty insane. Any potential for a worst to best video? I don't know. I'm not thinking of it right now. I remember when you included a track from the Night Watch on a worst track of the week, or weekly track roundup. Did you ever listen to their new record last year, An Embarrassment of Riches? I don't think I did. Let me put that in my phone and remind myself to check that out later. But I don't think I ended up following up with that one, which is honestly the case with a lot of tracks that I shout out in the series. But hopefully I kind of end up catching up with that. Come on, there we go. Hey, I hope you're doing well. What are my thoughts on Jay Critch, one of the best out Rich Forever, Dead Star, Just Star 2? I can't say. I cannot say. I don't think I've heard his work. I'll put it on my phone, and I will follow up with it when I get a chance, I suppose. But yeah, I don't think I've heard it. Going. What is my opinion on Xpetal, electronic noise groups? Pretty cool. I have not heard it. Popped it in the phone. I wish I could say. And what point does musical complexity do a disservice to the music and come off as pretentious? I guess when all you're trying to do is just sort of like show the audience how technically proficient you are. If that's all you're interested in doing, that's the point at which it's kind of overtaken the enjoyability of the music, in my opinion. Because at the end of the day, like, while it's cool that you can play the guitar, you can play the drums, or you can rap like super, 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 super fast. Like, that doesn't really convey a whole lot of substance. You know what I mean? In my opinion. And at the end of the day, what I'm interested in is ideas, aesthetics, artistic communique. Mark Rebier, just dropping 20 spot. Proud of you. Well, thank you for giving to the cause. Again, if you have not heard, because I have not said it for a while, the super chat money is going to No Kid Hungry, as this is kind of like a, reaction to a lot of the school closings, COVID, all that shit. Unfortunately, school lunches is maybe the only meal a lot of young kids get, and No Kids Hungry is currently trying to close that gap for a lot of kids. And their website is down below as well. So if you want to give directly to them, you can do that too. Can I provide a handful of obscure ambient atmospheric records that I may or may not have heard of, please? No, not off the top of my head. Obscure, honestly, tndaustin@gmail.com. Austin will hook you the fuck up with that exact type of shit. tndaustin@gmail.com. He's going to kill me for giving you that email address, but truly and honestly, he is way more into that shit than I am, and he will probably just throw an entire pile of that shit onto you, and you'll suffocate under it. So again, sorry to Austin for giving that out, but you help. But anyway, Spooktastic, ow, 20. Thank you for everybody who's given so far. Trying to get into early 90s black metal scene. Recommend Dark Throne, Emperor, Mayhem, Burzum. Also listen to Gorgoroth. Any more obscure names? I mean, the most obscure, probably not, but Hellhammer. Again, I'll say Gorgoroth. Other examples off the top of my head. I mean, Behemoth, but they're not, from the Nordic scene, and they've been around a long time. Yeah, I guess I'm just at a bit of a loss right now. I'm trying to think of more black metal bands off the top of my head. But I do recommend that you read the book Choosing Death. It's a really great kind of, story of all these different branches of extreme metal coming up through the 90s, including death metal and black metal. Pink Floyd tier list, not right now, but still, thank you for giving to this charity stream. Oh, this is for charity. Yes, Marcus, it's for charity. Shane Morris, we have known each other for a long time. Yes, you have emailed me quite a few times, Shane. That is true. And I appreciate you using your platform to help when it is needed the most. You practice what you preach and you hold true to your values. I am shouting out our Charge the Atlantic, just so a few people here might have to look them up. Charge the Atlantic. Look up Charge the Atlantic. $100 for No Kids Hungry, or rather, whatever the fuck YouTube takes off of that afterwards. But the remainder goes to No Kids Hungry. Yes, No Kid Hungry. Sorry, I said the name of the charity wrong. Lewis Grant. Hey, Lewis Grant. Love you, bro. Classic Lewis. He's always up to shit. Lewis fucking Grant. What do I think of the Medicine album? I don't think I've heard that. I've not heard that record. I will pop it in the phone. Medicine. I think that's how you would pronounce that. Medicine? Medicine. You'd probably say it medicine. Shout out King's Kaleidoscope. Shout out to King's Kaleidoscope, y'all. Shout him out. Look him up. Hey, man, love your work. Love your work, too. Bro. Should I know this person? I love your work, too. Thank you. Hey, have I ever listened to Gum? I think... Oh, okay, yes. I caught a track from it on Stereo Gum last week, and I wasn't super crazy about it. I was maybe going to end up talking about it in the weekly track roundup, but I didn't because I didn't really grab me. But anyway, Tame Impala's band Glamorous Damage is a good starting point and features Kieran J. Callanan. Oh, well, the track I heard I don't think featured Kieran, so I don't know. I'll pop it in the phone. I'll give that track a try. Nice to see Kieran getting around, though. I'll give it another shot. Ow! Daniel, thank you. Have I ever heard of the group Peach Tree Rascals? I have not. Best San Jose native boy band since Smash Mouth. Wow. And Smash Mouth's not even a boy band. All right, I'll try it out. Somebody once told me the world's fucking gonna roll me, fucker. Antony, will I be reviewing the new Viagra Boys EP? Here's the thing. I had a review for it ready. We uploaded it, and then YouTube demonetized it because Viagra is in the name of the band. And unfortunately, YouTube right now, because of the COVID thing, is totally automated. So you cannot submit properly for like a good actual person overlooking a video, making sure that it's like actually worthy of fucking monetization. And unfortunately, when you leave unmonetized or you have a lot of unmonetized videos on your channel, it's more likely that they demonetize your shit right away and then check it afterwards. And again, because of the automation, they're not fucking checking that shit. So we ended up putting it back down, but I probably will talk about it in the why you know review, or maybe put the review up at a later time when it makes more sense. I know it's fucked up, but YouTube's ridiculous. But generally, I think the EP is okay. What are your thoughts on Ladies and Gentlemen, We Are Floating in Space? Fucking classic. It's my favorite album ever. It is a good favorite album ever. I mean, it's not my favorite album ever, and it probably does warrant a classic review, but it is an amazing fucking record. And I used to not really be all that into Spacemen 3 too, but going back to their stuff as of late, I've been enjoying it a lot more. So, shout out to Spiritualized, shout out to Spacemen 3, great music, and Ladies and Gentlemen is a fucking classic and a half. What are my thoughts on Neon Genesis Evangelion? I have not watched that anime, and I suck for it, but I don't watch enough anime. Would I sing the theme song for us on stream? If I fucking knew it, I fucking would. Would I ever reconsider reviewing any CCM music? I recommend Need to Breathe's acoustic live album. Okay, I will pop it in my phone since it is your recommendation, and I will try it out at a later time, my friend Jacob. Moving on from there, what would you like to see in a new King Gizzard album? Honestly, after Psy Boogie being as good as it was, fucking electronic record. Let's go. Melon, I know you dislike Little Peep's Hellboy, but I've always wondered if I listened to any of his previous tapes. Crybaby, Live Forever, Changes, California. I have not listened to all of them. No, certainly not. I have listened to one that came out before Hellboy, and I can't remember which one. But Hellboy turned me off the most. But are they that much different? I don't know. Let me know. Anthony@theneedledrop.com. Link me up with a couple of the best tracks, a couple of the best early ones. Satet. Thank you. What is the most epic, grandiose song of all time, and why does it bring the sun to sun? I think Swans has maybe some more songs that are slightly more epic than that. There's some amazing songs off of fucking soundtracks. No. Yeah, I mean that one's close. It's close. It's close. It's close to one of the more epic ones. I don't know. I can't make a case for it being the greatest or most grand song of all time, but it's close. What the fuck is this shit? Opinion on Look Mum No Computers EP Human Procrastination. I've not heard it, but I will pop it in the phone and hopefully try it. Moving on from there. With hopefully this is not a glitch. Here we go. Rose, thank you very much again. Remember, this is a charity stream, people. You can also give to the charity that we are giving to via the link down below if you want to do that and you just want to hang out and chill. Have I heard the band Crumb? Yes. Have I heard the band Crumb? Yes, I have. I think their sound is a little faint on the ears. I wish it had just a better mix, just more vibrant, I suppose. I know a lot of people are into that dreamy shit. But I think it's just okay. They blend psychedelic rock with jazz in a way that's really, it's not jazzy enough if it is jazzy, in my opinion. Although their latest album was honestly Cheeks. Like it was, are you saying it wasn't good? Yeah, I suppose that is true. I mean, I heard them. I'm semi-curious. I will most likely check out the next LP. So I guess we'll see then. Come on. There we go. What is my favorite album ever? I do not have a favorite album ever. I decidedly do not have a favorite album ever. I do have some favorites, like, I don't know, Pink Flag, Lift Your Skinny Fists, also Remain in Light, also 36 Chambers, I Talk with the Spirits and Inflated Tear, Ladies and Gentlemen, that I was just talking about earlier, the Spiritualized record. Excuse me. And a lot of modern albums as well that you see me review on the channel. Onda Tropica, T-Pab, The Money Store, Pure Comedy, fucking Atrocity Exhibition, and it goes on and on and on and on. But it's just because there's a lot of, I'm older and there's a lot of stuff that I grew up with, doesn't mean that shit is necessarily my favorite album of all time. I love a lot of modern music too. Obviously, I do, or I wouldn't do what I do. I think the shit we're putting out today is just as good as the shit that came out yesterday, frankly. Thoughts on Coldplay? I do like X and Y. Viva is okay. I think their earlier stuff is a little overhated. My wife herself is a kind of a big fan of Parachutes. I do kind of like the cold, somewhat electronic, futuristic sound of pop rock that they deliver on X and Y. But after that, though, I think they've really kind of gone downhill creatively. So there is that. But I don't mind Coldplay. I'm not like a huge fan of the band. I think they come out with a couple of, good LPs. But they're not like a group I fucking stan or anything like that. Wheeler's Music. Ow! Thank you very much for giving to this fucking charity stream. And it is a charity stream for No Kid Hungry. Remember that. COVID has shut many schools across the nation. And unfortunately, those school lunches are maybe the only meal many kids get a day. I implore to you, give to them via the link down below in the, the D box and everything. But if you want to give a super chat, we, are giving the proceeds of the super chats to No Kid Hungry. Just recall that YouTube does take a chunk off of it. So if you want to give a lot, you could, do it over on the website. If you want to give a little here and just, do the fucking super chat and get in, you can. But from memory, which track was one of the first that you noticed in my childhood where I started changing listening to music differently? Example, mine was Jealous Guy by John Lennon, was about 7. I'm trying to remember what a transformational moment was as far as like listening to music. I don't know. I mean, I just grew up listening to like the radio, pop rock, pop music, hip hop. There was a lot of like pop punk around that time too in the 90s and grunge. I was just kind of listening to whatever MTV was throwing in front of me too. I mean, I guess I sort of became a bit of a music obsessive when I found like punk and nu metal and could kind of like sink my teeth into that, and sort of this idea of like underground music and shit, and collecting and getting into more obscure bands, and that happened around like the middle of high school. So that was probably a transformational moment. Sort of like getting more into music in a nerdy way as opposed to listening to it in a more casual and passive way. That was probably like a transformational moment, but I can't think of a single song that kind of drove me there. But some of the bands that drove me there were definitely like, Dead Kennedys and Black Flag and The Clash and Ramones and that sort of shit. Hey, Melon, what's next for Travis Scott after his critical acclaim Astroworld? I don't know. I frankly don't know. I mean, I think Travis is sort of still kind of like ahead of the pack as far as like, multi-phase psychedelic trap goes. So, I mean, why not just continue to prove that you're the best fucking fucker at doing that shit? I think Travis still needs to do new shit and stay creative and work with new people, work with new artists. But I see no reason for him to change lanes at this point necessarily. Hey, Anthony, thoughts on the new furry Netflix show? I have not followed it, but I do find that potentially interesting, just to kind of like, see what's going on with the furry community. I would not blame you for the thirst. I take industry's money now tight, but an uprising is coming due to everyone being so effed. Hopefully an uprising is coming. Thoughts on the new Haru Numeri album? I think it's an EP, but I have not listened to all of it yet. But I do have it on my calendar. Moving on from there. Quick, rank every gold verse. No, that is not. No, that is. I cannot rank every gold verse quickly. That cannot happen. That cannot happen. But I thank you very much, and I kiss you for giving generously to this charity live stream. What if it was purple? That's pretty good Eric Andre meme. It's a decent Eric Andre meme. Not like in the top 10 in my opinion, but it's a good mid-tier Eric Andre meme. Will I ever review movie albums with original music like Scott Pilgrim, with Beck or Her, Arcade Fire? No plans to do that right now. But who knows what the future holds at this point. I don't do a lot of soundtrack stuff. I just kind of prefer original albums, but I guess we'll see. What are my thoughts on Dunedin Sound? It was a style of pop and rock music out in New Zealand of the 80s. I don't think I've heard this, and it had influence on groups like Pavement, REM. Okay, I will try it out. I mean, I know there's some crazy shit that went, musically that went down in New Zealand, like fucking Flying Nun Records and all that stuff. And I don't know if that's connected to that per se, but I'll have to look that up. I'm not familiar with that New Zealand strain. Have I ever heard from anything from Fishman's? I have. I think they have some cool stuff, though I did not sink my teeth in enough to really critique, but I will consider maybe a classic review into the future. What I always say is, you guys got to consider that, like, I didn't grow up on Fishman's, so I'm kind of coming into it late, as many of you are, as they're kind of like a newly unearthed band, even though they are an older band. And I just kind of need to get deeper into their shit. I just haven't had the time. But, it does sound like, pretty surreal, pretty trippy, what I've heard so far. Thoughts on Acid Bath? It's good raw underground groove metal. It's better than a lot of the commercial shit, but it's not one of my favorite styles of music. So, or on less known thrash artists like Watchtower and Creator. I've not gotten into Watchtower. Creator has some decent stuff, though they're not like maybe in my top 5 of thrash bands of all time. But yeah, Acid Bath, they have a pretty noisy, classic, sludgy, heavy, groovy sound. But do I love them as much as like I Hate God? Not necessarily, But yeah, I mean, they're not a bad group. Any Madness brackets coming out soon? I don't know. I've not planned any as of right now. I'm just like mostly dealing with trying to stay sane and just keep up my usual grind, with all this COVID and quarantine shit going down. I am considering a Trico review. Sightless Pit is most likely going to be in the YNO review as of right now. Thanks for the charity stream. Thoughts on the new Slift album? No, I have not heard that. I will look it up. Sounds interesting given the genre tags you have placed here. And ow! Thank you for the 20 spot for this charity stream. Time to deliver a pizza ball. That is an Andre meme? If it is an Andre meme, I anticipate that it is, given your last super chat that I'm not familiar with. Honestly, I haven't caught up with a lot of the latest seasons. Maybe it's a newer one. Which hip hop artist do I think can collaborate with Death Grips on a collaboration album, and why? I hate to say it, but like JPEG Mafia kind of seems like an obvious pick. Although, just throw caution to the wind and just do a Death Grips Griselda crossover. Just fucking do it. Just do it, pussy. Here we go. Hey, Melon, I was wondering, what are some of your favorite Cure albums? Probably Kiss 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 and Pornography are probably my 2 favorites. Those are probably my 2 favorites. And yeah, no, those are probably my 2 favorites. Do I differentiate between what I would consider good and what you like? In other words, do I listen to and enjoy music that I wouldn't rate positively? I do consider that when I'm doing something like a worst to best, per se. And if I do feel like something I dislike would appeal more widely to a great number of people, or is more substantive to people other than me, or if something is just not my thing, I will say that in a review if I feel it's necessary. But generally, no, my reviews are just pretty much like my opinion, whether I like it or not, and that's kind of it. I recommend checking out Rami. Okay, I'll put it in my phone. Thanks for the reco, Brecco, and also for giving to this charity stream. Hey, Anthony, longtime fan. In your mind, what nu metal song has aged the best and which the worst? Also, could I please say Noah is lame? Noah's fucking lame, bro. But as far as like which song, like single song, I don't know. I mean, I could maybe boil it down to bands and say I think Disturbed has maybe aged kind of the worst. And groups like System of a Down, groups that barely you could even consider nu metal at this point, have probably aged the best. While some may not consider them nu metal, they still came out of that same era, and like nu metal fans all loved the fuck out of them. So, and if not them, like probably Slipknot. Probably Slipknot has aged the best. If maybe we're being a bit pickier about what we do and don't call nu metal. Thoughts on Plantasia by Mort Garson? I don't think I've heard that one. This is you're potentially exposing me here, but no, I don't think I've heard that at all. I'm like a fucking noob to what you've just thrown in front of me. I apologize, Dalton Nelson. If you've lost all respect for me, I won't be surprised. Joe, thank you very much. Ramus. Sorry, I fucked your name up. You gave House of Balloons a 3 out of 10, and it ended being one of my most controversial reviews. Do I still stand by the 3 out of 10? Did the mixtape grow on me over time? I have not listened to the mixtape in a long time. I am open to the mixtape growing on me, but I have not sort of given it enough sit-down time to actually assess whether or not that is the case. I was thinking of doing a review of, sort of like a reassessment type review of Trilogy at some point, maybe at the end of the year or something. I guess we'll see. But it'll happen when it happens, but it is something I have been thinking about. Give me some albums with bright synths, stuff like 20 Minute by Uzi, Blinding Lights by The Weeknd, or Millionaire by Khalees. Just listen to some synth pop, bro. Listen to some Aha, listen to some Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark, listen to some New Order, listen to some Soft Cell, listen to some fucking Human League, listen to some Depeche Mode, as Nardwuar calls them. Listen to some of those groups. Just listen to some synth pop, or listen to some some indie-tronic shit, or listen to some, I don't know. There's also I'm trying to think of another super bright. There's also Julia Holter. She makes super bright music. Julia Holter. She makes beautifully bright music. Also Beach House, maybe. Although that's a little dreamy. Have I listened to any Archie's pre-King Cruel tracks? Yes, I have. I was aware of Archie when he was in the Zoo Kid name and making a lot of noise on the blogs and everything. And I thought it was okay. It was okay enough for me to be interested in his King Cruel stuff when he transitioned to that name. But I'm not super huge on it. Did I ever listen to music from Homestuck? No, I don't think so. I'll pop it in the phone, but I don't think so. Yo, I appreciate you putting me on to Dorian Electra. Hell yes. I'm hoping to do an interview with Dorian very soon. I think they're one of the coolest forces in bubblegum bass and pop right now. I do agree. I do fucking agree. Dorian is also a true blue rock star as well. Melon, fan of your work for a long time. Don't suppose you'd be open to listening to some electronic pop-ish from a nobody like me? Anthony@theneedledrop.com. That's my email. Make your submission over there. Have I ever listened to an updated version of Yandhi? No, I did not listen to the updated version yet. Maybe I will at some point, but I have not listened to it yet. Some of the newer leaks are really good. I recommend it. I don't know. It may be good. It would just make me more disappointed that Yandhi didn't come out and we got Jesus is King instead, which, look, at the end of the day, I think Jesus is King could have been a much better record, but it just didn't end up being. What is the best Pink Floyd song and why is it Shine On You Crazy Diamond? I don't know. I suppose you could make an argument for that. I suppose you could also make an argument for any number of Wall tracks or Dogs or fucking, also Money is a really creative song in terms of the bluesiness of it, the time signature, the bass line, also the meaning of the track too. I know, don't get up my fucking ass because, I don't say that Dark Side of the Moon is the greatest album that's been given to mankind all the time, but Money's a great track too. So let's go. Hi, Anthony. What do I think of Dr. Dre apparently producing Jesus is King 2 and what would I expect from it? That's actually kind of a good sign if that is the case, because Dr. Dre would make sure the album sounds fucking finished. Samuel says, thanks for the charity stream. It's a great cause. Whole bunch of comments like this. But what do you think of Daft Punk's Human After All? I think it's kind of like the first dip in their catalog, though there are some creative ideas on it that I wish had just been executed better. I think the idea of doing kind of a rocky, distorted, aggressive type of album was cool, but they just sort of fell flat on their face in the process on some songs. Reviewed their other releases, but not that one. Yeah. Hi, Anthony. Thanks for the sick content. I would love a shout out to thesoundtrack.ca, which is a Toronto-based music and lifestyle blog. Also, what are my thoughts on No Mana? I don't think I've heard No Mana, but shout out to that fucking blog, soundtrack.ca. And hopefully you guys are doing okay with the COVID up there. Thoughts on guitar virtuosos like Malmsteen, Buckethead, Steve Vai. Buckethead I find pretty interesting, though his catalog is very much like, quantity over quality. Steve Vai I think is just like annoying. Malmsteen I think like he's eccentric. I'm not crazy about his music, but I appreciate his eccentricity. Steve Vai, when I see him perform and everything, and I have seen him perform in person, literally at a Zappa Plays Zappa thing. He just comes off to me as someone who just has his fucking stick up his ass and like thinks he's like God's gift to the guitar. And, to me, that's just like really annoying. Thoughts on Scroofy? I know he has some weird opinions, and I'm not talking about music that I'm not trying to endorse or anything like that. But he seems like a passionate music reviewer who has like some good takes on some stuff. Although I don't follow his stuff that deeply to sort of like tell you like what like is the type of shit he champions versus anything else. What are my thoughts on the band Cursive? I've never really been huge into Cursive, despite the fact that they were very big when I was in college. I thought they were kind of like a little overrated, in my opinion. I know there are a lot of people that, love their particular brand of, emo and post-hardcore and shit, but it was not really my bag. I was much more of a kind of like a screamo dude, a little bit more into like Blood Brothers and shit like that. And Fugazi. Thoughts on Sticky Fingers? I think Dylan Frost's voice is unlike any. I don't think I've ever gotten into Sticky Fingers. I will pop it in my phone. I know they're a group I've gotten suggestions for over and over and over, but I've never gotten into their shit. I got that one. I was just talking about this band the other day and how I've never gotten into them and I never learned to say their fucking name. I was just talking about it in the new Why You Know review. Recent Hallucinations EP. I've not heard it. So as I just said in the Why You Know review, I was talking about how I never learned their name. And I'll check out the new EP. I have not heard it. Thoughts on video game soundtracks. I mean, I'm not to brag, but I'm a bit of an old school gamer. Doom, Minecraft, what you're mentioning here, also, Cuphead is all fucking amazing. But I grew up during the SNES days and the NES days, and I look most fondly upon all that shit. The fucking Earthbounds and Chrono Triggers and Secret of Manas and Super Mario Brothers and Metroids and that type of shit. Spent the week filling out a bingo sheet for your reviews, and I just finished it. Love to hear your thoughts. Oh, shit. I'll have to pop that into my phone. That's pretty funny that there's a bingo sheet for my reviews. Hopefully other people are screenshotting this so they can look at the bingo sheet too, because that's pretty insane. Maybe anybody would want to play at home with the bingo sheet or something. It's pretty funny. All right. Got that. Got that. We have Shane in here again. Oh, I forgot. Check out NIVD, or NIVED. Think Prodigy meets Salem, the Witch House thing. He's in Nashville. Give him a listen when I get a chance. Okay, I mean, if I had to listen to anything that sounded like Salem, I would like for it to be influenced by Prodigy as well. So that is not a bad pitch, sir. Get into the PR game. Well, I reviewed Joywave's newest album, Obsession. I thought their last record was so fucking boring. I mean, not to swear too much, but I do not get the point of Joywave. I feel like they should be way darker and edgier than they actually are. But I'll check out the record if it lands in front of me. Hey, Melon, any Folktronica recommendations? Not lately. I've not heard any good Folktronica as of late. I reviewed a couple records last year that were kind of in that vein, but I have not heard any lately. I know maybe the last notable record in that style was maybe the last Bibio record. And also that, what's that Korean band? Midair Thief. People like them. I'm not as crazy about them, but they fuse, electronics and folk music. I've been listening to Fortet. I've been wanting to hear more like it. I would also look up Folktronica, just generally on Rate Your Music. There's a lot of older records in that style that are a lot better than some of the newer stuff. And also look up the band Tongue, I think it's Tunng. I think that's how they spell their name. They're a cool folktronic group out of the UK that had some good stuff way back. What are my thoughts on the new Kveler Talk album? I think the mix just sucks on it. It is a shit ass mix on that record. Like, it's so noisy and not in like a cool noise rock kind of way. It's just like a lot of frequencies clashing, and the vocals and the guitar harmonies don't really like pour out beautifully as they should. And I think the loss of the huge black metal influence in their early stuff is still like, kind of taking the wind out of their sails a little bit. But yeah, I'm not crazy about the new one. I talked about it in the new YUNO review, or like a recent YUNO review. Would you do another Grant McDonald live reaction on this charity stream? No, not right now. Maybe toward the end. Not right now. Not right now. Hey, if you want good Japanese jazz punk album, check out Hello Everybody. I think somebody's suggested their stuff at a past live stream, and they do have some good stuff. I'm not crazy about it, but I will vouch for this guy. This is a cool band. Check them out. Give them your time, because you may enjoy them more than me. What is the best Pink Floyd album? I mean, for me personally, it's either Animals or The Wall. Also, what is my overall rating for Dark Side of the Moon? I don't know. I mean, I'd give it at least an 8 or a 9. It's a very good album. It's a very good album. I just don't think it's like, I just like Pink Floyd's more conceptual works, I guess. So I'll just leave it at that. Hi, Q&A Tant. Okay, that works. Check out Delete You by Brando. Okay, that's a crazy name. Surely that work of music is going to be creative, given the name and title. I'll check it out. Hey, Anthony, thought it was interesting that in an interview recently, Tyler, the Creator, said he now thinks Goblin is horrible. Has my opinion changed on the album since I reviewed it? No, not really. I still think it's like kind of a bad album. I need to look up that quote. Maybe I'll do a video on it. That's pretty interesting that he has that opinion now. Moving on from there, I was thinking about modern rock stars and came to the conclusion that Josh Homme might be, I've downloaded a few records here and there, but it is not something like I'm, well versed in. It's something I've only come into like over the last year or so, you know what I mean? So I cannot, come over here and like flex on like my city pop knowledge, because it does not exist. Although do still, take some time to check out City Pop, because it is a cool little movement of music in Japan that I previously was not aware of, and was actually hugely influential to groups like Daft Punk. So, especially during the Discovery era. Have I heard Connie Converse? She's a cool lost singer-songwriter from the 50s and 60s. I have not, honestly. That sounds pretty cool, though. Lost artist from the 50s and 60s, Connie Converse. Converse songs rediscovered in 2009. Okay, sounds cool. I'll check it out. Rapid fire Eminem, worst to best right now, go. I mean, the worst is obviously Revival, and the best is probably, Marsha Mathers LP. And going in between it is a fucking mess right now. I cannot. But I mean, that's kind of the worst and the best. Can I give some insight into what it's like being interviewed by Nardwar? It's just rapid fire, man. He's just throwing so much shit at you, and you got to process it way quicker than he is. And he has all that fucking shit like, planned out. So he's going to like overwhelm you with bullshit. So it's kind of like that. It's kind of like playing whack-a-mole. He's like, before you're done answering, he's got another question in your face, or some other kind of weird thing about you that he knows that you didn't know that he would know. How much were I able to keep? Yeah, I wasn't able to keep a lot of that shit. I was able to keep, like a lot of cool stuff, like the Did Kennedy signed record, but not the old, like, what was it, like Steve O'Malley 7-inch. I wish I could have fucking kept that. But do I think the next Red Hot Chili Peppers effort will be a large improvement? Given Frusciante back in the mix, I think it could be better. So my hopes are high, frankly and honestly. So hopes are high. I think it could lead to an improvement. Did I know there's going to be a new Sweet Trip record? Wow, that sounds kind of cool. And, could kind of prime the pump for a, review of, their fucking record that I said I was going to do a classic review of this past year, and I didn't end up doing it. I apologize for that. But have I delved into Fishman's discography yet? No, I have not delved into the whole thing, as I've said in this live stream earlier, but I will at some point, I promise. I have tried out some stuff, but I've not dived into the discography. Maybe forcing myself to do a classic review will make me do that. Have you ever listened to the music of experimental artist Rose? Seems like it would be up your alley. Like Merzbow, worst to best sometime. Yeah, probably not a Merzbow worst to best coming out like ever, but I will check out this artist that you recommended. And nothing against, Mersey. It's just it's a lot of records. What artist is going to help me go to the gym and stay hyped? Because of the COVID outbreak, I recommend that you stay the fuck away from the gym. Although maybe you could do some outside runs away from people, or maybe do some home workouts. And if that's what you want to do, listen to maybe the first Feller Talk record, or listen to some Black Breath. Yo, thanks for being a huge part of my journey through music fandom during my 4 years of college, and for inspiring me to become vegetarian as a freshman and go on to become vegan as a junior. Hell yeah. Favorite recording labels. I like the Flenser. I like Southern Lord. I like Sub Pop and Matador. I like also Backwoods Records, Def Jux. I don't know. Those are just some of the ones off the top of my head. There's probably others that I'm going to regret not having said, but just off the top of my head. Just off the top of my fucking head. Anthony, do I plan on reviewing either Music Has the Right to Children or What Burns Never Returns during Classics Week? No plans on either so far, though I would probably consider Music Has Right before, like more primarily, but no plans on either as of right now. Excuse me. Got that. Yeah, you almost got out of here. Could I do a review of Trilogy by Carpenter Britt? At this point, it's a little old. No plans to do so right now. And I do think there are a lot of good tracks on Trilogy, but it's a bit of a hefty record to kind of be like going so balls deep into, kind of that dark 80s synth sound. But still, it's a good project. It's a good project. If I had been more into it at the time when it came out, I would have reviewed it, but in retrospect, and I wish I did, but no plans on, sort of going back and doing a retrospective right now. What's some good vegan grub that I've been into making for the next It's Food episode? It's Food, with me being locked up in the house for as long as I have been, might be coming back sooner rather than later, so I guess we'll see. But honestly, I've gotten recently into making my own dough. Which I know sounds really pretentious and up my own ass, but seriously, I have been kind of making dough, which is kind of weird that I haven't been doing that, because I fucking worked at a pizza place for a decade, and I had to make dough all the time. So my wife was like, we're in the house and I really want pizza. And I was like, okay, I'll just figure out how to just make some fucking dough. And I just got a simple recipe. And once I, got all the ingredients together, it was like fucking like a cakewalk. It was like, oh yeah, this is exactly what I used to do for years and years and years and years. And then I was at home, literally making pizza once again, which I, again, haven't done in years. So I've been making pizza. And I made myself a vegan pizza, with no cheese or meat on it or whatever, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's a kick that I have been on as of late. Could I review Trilogy? Yeah, I got that one. Hey, Ant, do I think A Whole Lot of Red has a chance of living up to the hype? I think so. Cardi has put an emphasis on making a weird artistic project when he's been interviewed. Delays worry me. Yeah, the delays don't worry me right now. I don't think it's like an extraordinarily long amount of time to have to wait for this record. I'm just looking forward to it. I think it's going to live up to the hype. I honestly think it will. Since I Left You, Yoshimi, that Sigur Rós record I can't pronounce, The Queen is Dead, and Rumors all deserve classic reviews. I don't deny that. But there are a lot of other records that deserve classic reviews too, so it's kind of hard. Especially the other overlooked albums from the late 90s and early 2000s that you put me into, Give Up and Woods. Yeah, it's true. I don't disagree. I will maybe remind myself, I would, out of that bunch there, I would be interested in doing a Yoshimi or a Since I Left You review. Just looking at that bunch. Those two entice me the most. Am I going to be doing speaking tours outside of the U.S. again eventually once this COVID stuff is gone? I'm in Aussie. It's funny. My dude who booked me over there in Australia the 2 previous times was asking me if I want to come over there, just as the wildfires and just before the COVID thing was happening. So, but then all of that just kind of put the fucking brakes on it. But I will. But hopefully, I do get to a point where where we're doing that again. So, but as of right now, all speaking, everything is like pretty much off. Please say hi to Lance Lovegood. Hi, Lance Lovegood. I hope you're having a nice day, I suppose. Thoughts on Maxim the Hormone? Oh, that's a name I haven't fucking heard in years. It's been so long, and I don't even mean like someone's recommended to me online. Like, I haven't heard somebody bring that up like in person for years. And honestly, I can't remember the last time somebody like showed me their music. Also, I tweeted a Brazilian album, Comcar, but yeah, somebody sent me that in an email. Could I talk about that? Could I talk a bit about that? Yeah, it was just like a recommendation I threw out there because someone sent me a bunch of classic Brazilian shit in an email, a fan of the show, and that one just sounded the coolest to me out of the bunch. So I just tweeted it out because I thought other people might like it. I thought it was good. Thanks for talking about Brazilian music. And Anna Fret. Yeah, Anna I caught during a bit of an IG live stream yesterday, and she was killing it on the acoustic guitar. She was fucking killing it. Thoughts on combat sports, specifically MMA. I wish I watched it more. I mean, I find it really intriguing. I mean, I am very much into, sort of the art of fighting. But it's not anything like I follow super specifically. But, if I catch it, I am pretty intrigued by it, honestly. Thoughts on The Devil and God Are Raging Inside of Me and Brand New's discography. I don't mind their discography. I'm not a huge Brand New fan either, though. Again, sort of a band out of a style and an era during the 2000s that more or less wasn't blowing me away as much as like a lot of the noise rock and post-hardcore and spazzy indie shit, like Daughters type shit, frankly, at the time that I thought was a lot more interesting. In retrospect, it's pretty epic and, really ambitious what they were able to do with, emo and post-hardcore. With Deja and Tnd and that sort of shit. But, still not like a style I'm super crazy about. But God and that record are easily two of their best, or really their two best, period. So, just leave it there, I guess. And also the allegations and everything. Yeah, the allegations are concerning, and I guess can contribute to my lack of interest, I suppose, because prior I wasn't a super big Brand New fan to begin with. What is the best Joanna Newsom album? As of right now, I think it's Have One on Me. At one point, I would have said Yeast, but I think it's Have One on Me. And I need your input on this existential dilemma. Also, System of a Down, worst to best when. The System of a Down's discography is so short, I wonder if it really warrants a worst to best. But I mean, Toxicity is the best. I think they're, one of their latest records is probably the worst. I'm not super huge on like Hypnotized or anything like that. So. Fuck, these things are just like, fuck you, YouTube. Stop this. This is like the worst feature of this thing. The way these just sort of like fly backwards at you and you miss them. Have you listened to Aaron West in the Roaring Twenties? Americana folk punk? Maybe could be interesting. Sounds kind of gimmicky like the Squirrel Nut Zippers, but like terrible, but I will check it out. So is it like flapper folk punk? I don't know, man. I'll try it. Have I heard the new Garden album a bit? I found it annoying, but I might end up trying to stomach the record and review it anyway. We'll see. Can I say hi to Lance Lovegood and his voiceover? I did that. Lance Lovegood, what's up? Have I ever listened to Saves the Day? Yes. I think Saves the Day sucks. I'm still a fan, even though they've been slapped with the emo label. Yeah, I think they're one of the worst emo bands out there. Nothing against you as a fan of Saves the Day, but yeah, Saves the Day is easily one of the worst emo bands in my opinion. I'm not into Saves the Day, truly and honestly. And look, again, this is sort of like a style and a strain that I have had a hard time historically getting into, even when it was popular and I was in college. Like, I'm not even huge into Thursday, which I know is sort of like a pretty agreeable group, for that era. But even Thursday, I'm just like, nah, I can't. I saw you shout out IO on Twitter recently and wanted to know if I was planning on reviewing their latest project, The Fortunes Told. They put out a lot of stuff. I have not tried their latest yet, so I will put it into my phone and I'll try it out, I guess. But again, they drop a lot of stuff, so the newest record probably slipped by me. Melon You peeped my IG story yesterday about Slims and SF closing down. That is true, and that is very sad. Ideas on supporting local venues and artists with all this crazy stuff going on. Honestly, what we need right now, especially for small businesses, we need a moratorium on, rent, because these places have to close because there's nothing else that you can do at this point. They're being forced to, out of concern for the public good, to close. It doesn't make sense for them to be open. So, we need some kind of sure. I mean, if you see a GoFundMe, donate to it or whatever. But, what we really need to be demanding of our leaders is some kind of, just pause on this shit. So, regular life can go back to normal once we fucking, get through this fucking rough patch. Got that. Hey, Mel Dog, any albums that you love that you feel nobody has ever heard? Example, a 32nd annual report by Throbbing Gristle. I feel like nobody has ever heard that mind-blowing record. There's a really obscure record from a band called, I think, This Robot Kills. And it's a really fucking weird, noisy, electronic, lo-fi punk album that I think is fairly interesting. Also, the band and Albatross have a really cool, weird noise rock laser Viking. I believe it, it's a very lengthy title. Album that back in the day fucking kicked ass that I feel like I wish more people knew about. There is a pandemic going on, but I still keep seeing ads about there being hot singles in my area ready to fuck. Should I send them a message letting them know they are being irresponsible? The reason those singles are hot is because they broke out in the fever, so they're a lost cause at this point. Just leave the singles alone, I guess. Will I ever review Panic at the Disco? No, probably not. I am not. Again, we're talking about the same era of emo and pop rock, and I'm not a Panic at the Disco fan. I do sort of respect what their debut album represented for sort of that movement. But I'm not a Panic at the Disco fan by any means, by any stretch of the imagination, which again is funny because I was literally in college at the point in time where that shit was huge and it was everywhere. And it would have made absolute sense for me to get into it. But I was just much more into what was going on in the indie scene. And I was just way more into old school punk music at the time, and Tom Waits and Bob Dylan and sort of 80s hip hop and just weird singer-songwriters. Thoughts on the wave from upstate New York, bringing a new take on boom bap, Griselda, and 38 Special. I mean, I don't know if the take is that new, in my opinion. I think they're just, doing an old sound, kind of like a lot of Justice, I suppose. Oops, I got a text here from, did I see it? Just got a text from my wife and I missed it. Sorry. To her. Sorry to my wife. I just texted her back. Next major region hip hop. Also check out my single MV on my page. Okay, Corey Loveless, you're gonna fucking make me click on your fucking page, Corey. Okay, I clicked on. I'll check it out later, Corey. Have a good day, Corey. Thanks for giving to this charity stream, bitch. I'm gonna go maybe 10 more minutes. Have I listened to the artist Black Cray, Sick Boy Rari, and if I have thoughts? I have not. I'll put it on my phone. Boop. Hey, Anthony, I was wondering, what are my thoughts on Perfect Hair? Has it changed since 2014? No, I think it's still a pretty good record. I noticed it wasn't in my top 200 of the decade. Yeah, it just didn't end up making the cut. Like a lot of records that kind of got a strong 8. Just didn't end up making the cut. That Baroness's Purple didn't end up making the cut as well. I still think it's a good album. But there were a lot of albums that just ended up, I felt like prioritizing because they were more culturally relevant, and ones that I felt like were more representative or cutting edge or significant to the sound and styles that, those artists were kind of representing. Do I think Gaslighter really has a chance to bring back the Dixie Chicks, since country is clearly at its most divisive since? Yeah, I don't know if Gaslighter itself is really going to do that. It's a damn good song, I think right now country is eventually going to undergo a point at which you do have a bit more of an underground for it erupting out of the internet. It's just going to take time, as it did with hip hop. Even though hip hop was virtually revolutionized by the internet from the 2010, from 2010 to 2011 to now, that had very much been happening to rock music and indie like throughout the 2000s. And, I think we're going to reach a point where that's happening to country music as well. Once people are a little bit more online and are able to access artists that are kind of like outside of the, the country mainstream a bit easily. Why do I hate Drake? The score I gave Scorpion may be justified and fair, but Views sucks. Views is not an 8 out of fucking 10. If you think Views is an 8 out of 10, that is a fucking lie. Have those albums grown on you at all? I think some of the singles from Nothing Was the Same have grown on me quite a bit, but there's still tracks on there, like that Wu-Tang Forever track is trash. Just absolute trash. The intro also sucks to the record too. But still, having said that, no, freaking Views was not good. And Views was set up to be great because if you're reading this, it's such a great fucking mixtape. And it didn't capitalize. It didn't capitalize at all. It was just a dud album. But yeah, I mean, I don't hate Drake. I hate that he comes out with mediocre music is what I hate. Southern Playlist of catalog music versus soul food. I think maybe I might go soul food. And if not based simply on the fact that Outkast came out with way better stuff after. It is a great record though. Have I gotten a chance to listen to Pregnant Whale Pain? No, I will put it in my phone. Pregnant Whale Pain. Would Bernie have gotten more young people out if relevant artists like Cardi, Ariana, Dua Lipa pushed harder for him? I don't know, honestly. Like, Hillary Clinton got a lot of celebrity endorsements too, and young people didn't come out for her in droves. So who the fuck knows? I know those three support him. Do celeb endorsements not matter? I think they maybe matter a little bit. Yeah, I mean, look, after the Bernie campaign is, after this campaign season is done, and I don't really know how it's going to finish out. Obviously, it's not looking like Bernie is going to get a majority of the delegates. But I still think he might have an ace up his sleeve if he decides to leverage his movement and influence against the Democratic Party to force at least some of his policies into the whatever platform is put together. If he can do that, then I think he might have an ace up his sleeve. If he doesn't, then he's fucking us. But still, having said that, however it plays out, we will have time afterwards to kind of commiserate over that and have a powwow about what we can do better into the future. Hey ho, you reading this? Go vegan. I will go vegan. Hey, Anthony, highly recommend it when you have time to check out last year's Dream Empire's Atrophied Heart album. Okay, I'll pop it in the phone. I'm curiosity struck. Going to go a few more minutes, 5 more minutes. I use my mom's credit card to donate. Is it morally wrong to do so if it's for a good cause? You should have gotten permission first, my friend, to donate to the mom credit card. If you were going to do that and ask this question, maybe you should have just given specifically to nokidhungry.org, which I hope some of you are doing if you're not giving to the super chats. Have I heard Perpetual by Lost Boy Syndicate? I have heard some Lost Boy Syndicate stuff on SoundCloud, and I thought it was just okay. If so, what did I think of it? I didn't hear the whole project, no, if I heard any of it. Do I think I'll review their music? I have no plans to right now, but I suppose I am open to listening to more Lost Boy Syndicate in the future. Anthony at the needledrop.com is my email. If you hear more Lost Boy Syndicate, that is great. Pass it my way. What are some good games on the Switch? I can't stop playing Skyrim, honestly. Like Skyrim and Smash. And I'm enjoying River City Girls, and I like the Super Nintendo emulator on there. I'm not a huge into Animal Crossing, although I've never gotten into it to begin with. Maybe I would be if I got into it. But honestly, I need to stop playing Skyrim and start picking up Smash again just because. But although I do find playing it very therapeutic. Melon, have I listened to Sundra Karma? No, I have not. Will I review them? I have no idea. I will have to assess that once I hear their music. If it blows me away, then most likely yes. If it just blows, most likely no. Although I am not anticipating that. I would hope that you would recommend me something amazing. Thoughts on Megadeth? I mean, they're easily one of the most classic thrash bands out there. Peace Who's Selling. I mean, the first leg of their discography is just great in general. Loved your worst to best on Metallica and wanted your opinion on the age-old debate. Well, I think Metallica has more mainstream and sort of commercial and sort of songwriting appeal, whereas Megadeth just kind of kicks ass. And Metallica has, kick-ass records too. But as far as like, sound, ferocity, songwriting quality, Metallica at their peak is the total package, is truly and honestly what it is. Whereas like, at least Megadeth didn't take that same shitty like groove metal nosedive, although a lot of Megadeth's, latest stuff is like kind of terrible. So, but I personally prefer Metallica. To what degree do I separate the artist from the art? That is an age-old question that would take hours to answer. But I guess it's easiest when the art is not about what makes the artist so shitty that you might want to, I guess, cancel them in a way. It's kind of hard to separate the artist from the art when you center your art around, or you make it difficult to ignore, what it is the artist has done that is so horrible, or if the artist has done something that's so horrible that, whoops, what the fuck? Or if the artist has done something that's so horrible that, what the fuck just happened? What the fuck just happened? There we go. I went backwards. I went backwards into the past. I went back into the past. There we go. Now this is all fucked. How is this like this? Okay, no, that's fine. That's fine. There we go. That's good. That's what we want. But yeah, that's an age-old question. And I've done videos on that too on the Fantano channel, if I remember correctly. Some suggestions for classic reviews, if I choose. Yank Crime would be pretty fun. Criminal Minded, Boogie Down Production. That's a good one too. Philosophy of the World, I don't know. I would want to probably review some weird outsider shit before that, but those are some pretty good suggestions. Got that one. It's me again for the meme. Could I say as convincingly as possible, K by Necessary Noise. K by Necessary Noise. I'm feeling a light -1 to a strong 0 on this one. Do it for the meme, bro. Okay, I did it for the meme. Fuck. You will not believe this shit. My mouse just fucking died. Thanks, mouse. What the fuck? All right, let me get this going over here. What the fuck is going on? All right, so obviously this is going to be my last few minutes. Let me take these last couple. And I thank all of you again for doing this, participating in this amazing charity stream for No Kid Hungry. All right, here we go. Now I'm on the phone. I got him on my phone. All right, got that one. What guest would you want to see on the Eric Andre show? I would love to see Mike Bloomberg on there. Mike Bloomberg would be hilarious. Also, we need someone who's really like a normie, someone who's just like a genuine, kind soul. We need what the fuck do we need on there? What the fuck do we need on Eric Andre? Who do we need? We need someone who, we need Betty White's probably been on Eric Andre. Has Betty White been on Eric Andre? I would hope so. Just eating Hannibal's ass. I suppose. I don't know. I don't know who the fuck I'd want to see on Eric Andre at this point. Shaq? Has Shaq been on there? Maybe Shaq? I have no idea. Let me get this $50 one. Hey, fan, just want to give Adam from Your Movie Sucks. Made me think more about the movies I watched, and you began to turn the cogs in my mind for music. That's cool. Thank you. I appreciate that. Hope everyone is doing well amidst the pandemic. Also, what do I think about Skyrim's music? Skyrim's music is pretty epic. I mean, it definitely puts me in a zone, my zone. What type of character do you play in Skyrim, mate? I was I can't remember the name. Like, I was one of the lizard people, and then I beat it, and now I'm a wood elf, and I'm gonna play it. Just kind of like emphasizing different, like qualities, and sort of like trying to level up different shit. And the last time I did Imperials, this time I'm doing Stormcloaks. I kind of feel like the Stormcloaks are inherently like a little racist because they're just like, you know, all about like being Nords and shit. And you go to fucking, you know, the city where they're at and they're like treating the Dark Elves like shit. So it's like, even though the Imperials are sort of like really oppressive and like outlawing like the worship of Talos, I was just like, fuck these racist fucks. I'm going to fucking kill them. And then I took all of Ulfric Stormcloak's clothes and he was just like lying there naked in the fucking, you know, shit. And he's dead. So, but this time I'm just going to see how the story plays out to do it differently. But anyway, well, you hadn't just begun to influence my thinking. It had been a while, but the sentiment's the same. Yes, I appreciate that. Okay, well, Jesus. Okay, so as I said, that's going to be the last few minutes I do this. Once more, thank you to everyone who has given to this charity live stream. I greatly, 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 greatly appreciate it. I am going to put on social media over the next few days. I believe it's going to be probably 2-3 days from now when YouTube is able to finally tell me how much we made from this live stream. And, you know, I'll put that up on social media, do that donation as I typically do. So follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram on afantano. And if you do want to give, you know, to the Needle Drop and everything like that, you know, hit up our Patreon page, patreon.com/the Needle Drop. We do monthly content over there, monthly Patreon only, really patron only. What I want to say is Let's Argue episodes where we take patron questions and comments. And also we do classic album live streams as well. So, you know, you guys kind of suggest the classic album, then I listen to it in a listening party sort of thing. So we do that, and there's a Discord too. So, you know, if you do want to give to me to give to the Needle Drop, you know, you could do it over there. You know, next time we'll do a regular Q&A live stream, but still, thank you very much for asking questions. I'm sorry to anybody whose questions I did not get to. Anthony@theneedledrop.com is my email. If you have any further suggestions or if you want to relay your question over there, if I did miss it, I apologize. And I think that is it for right now. You know, get that information out there when we do the donation. And I hope, you know, all of you, if you didn't get the chance to donate, you know, now, maybe later at some time, if you do have some extra cash in your pocket, do a donation to No Kid Hungry. And hopefully we'll do another live stream next Friday or something like that. Oh, getting one more in. Mouse is sort of charged up right now. I'll pop this. Last second dono. There you go. And before I leave, don't give any more you know, super chats because I am leaving. But I'll look at the chat. So if the chat wants to get cancerous right now, I guess you could. Fishmans, I do respect and appreciate Fishmans, and I will hopefully maybe be doing a classic review of their stuff at some point. God bless LMFAO. After hours review will happen. It will happen. Don't worry. After hours review will happen. You don't need to type it. You don't need to type it. Primus sucks, which means Primus rules. CJ Fly record I thought was okay. Had some highlights on it though. Stan Luna, I do. Fish is good. I wish I liked Fish. Oh shit. Oh fuck. I forgot. Rest in peace, Joe Rogan. Fuck, man. We lost a fucking real one tonight. Rest in peace to Joe Rogan, man. Rest in fucking peace, dude. Just gonna pour out one for my homie. Pour it out into my mouth. Poured out one for my homie Joe. Don Tolly review, I'm not sure right now. I was considering it, but then I kind of reviewed the Rap Ferrera record instead. So if I do end up catching up with it, it will be this excuse me, this coming week. Although this week what I'm looking at is The Weeknd, Shabaka, Fortet, Trico, Horse Lords, The Garden, and again Don Toliver. And I'm not sure which one of those will end up kind of on the chopping block or getting pushed to next week. Let's see, Moses Sumney. I will be reviewing the Moses Sumney when the whole record is out. I will guaranteed be reviewing that fucking album, but only when the whole thing is out. I'm not reviewing part of the record. A lot of you are kind of spamming this indie-tronic band in the chat. I will try to check them out too. Childish Gambino countdown. Yeah, there is that happening as well. Where the 3 hours? It's 3 hours from now. What the fuck's gonna happen in 3 hours? The album gonna be out? Probably. Fuck. Better put that on the fucking calendar. But yeah, it says over here the countdown's 3 fucking hours. So probably something. Hopefully, I don't know if I'm ready for the new album yet. I have so much I want to talk about. I hope it's like I hope it's a single. Although he's streamed the entire record though. So I don't know if he would put out a single after streaming the album. Like maybe hopefully maybe like a music video. I don't know. But the Sightless Pit is probably going to be in the Why You Know review. It's an okay record. You know, it has some okay parts. It's not very consistent. Chuck, I did check out some of Chuck Sutton's record. I thought it was okay. Tofu versus Satan. I think I'm maybe more of a Satan guy. The new Haru record, I do have that written down. I thought that might have ended up getting pushed back, but I guess it's out. Let me see. Is it an album? I thought it was an EP, but whatever. Grant McDonald live reaction. No, I'm not gonna do a Grant McDonald right now. Not gonna do a Grant McDonald's. Epic. Jack Stauber is cool. He's a nice guy. J Balvin record is mediocre. And the people are asking for Sightless Pit. It's okay. It's not an amazing album. You know, it sounds very inconsistent. I mean, I respect all the artists involved, but it was kind of weird for them to kind of structure the record in a way where it's like, oh yeah, like each of us is going to kind of take the lead on a song and do a totally different thing. And I wish they had kind of come up with maybe more cohesive sound, you know, just seemed a little all over the place and just, you know, why no Vinny Paz reviews? I mean, I respect Vinny Paz's back catalog, but I think he's very much an artist who's kind of set in his own ways at this point, which I mean is good for his fan base. You know, I mean, they want to hear him kind of do a particular sort of thing, you know. He's sort of not at a point where I think he's sort of like, you know, putting out anything cutting edge at this point, you know, like back in the day, Jedi Mind Tricks was like, you know, ahead of the fucking curve production wise and had a badass fucking attitude, you know, whereas these days I think Vinny is kind of settled very much, which, you know, again, if you're an older artist and you have an audience that sort of like grew up with you sounding a certain way is a respectable kind of path. You know what I mean? If you can live out the rest of your career by giving your audience exactly kind of what it fucking wants, like do it, man. The internet era is niche. And I think, you know, guys like Vinny are kind of feeding what they got to do. But you know, is it interesting to me at this point personally? Not really. Taylor Swift was right. I am going to do a video on that. So, you know, be on the lookout for that. And I think I'm going to leave it at that, guys. You're the best. You're the best. You're the best. You're the best. Review Lauv. What the fuck is a Lauv? Let me see. I will look and I will see what a Lauv is. I'll check that out. I'll check out Ultraista. I'll check out both those, as they seem to be getting spammed in the chat. Also, somebody's doing hand on the face, shake my head. And Lauv is a singer. Is Lauv a singer? I have found... Oh, yeah, also known as... Okay, yes. I'm just seeing an album cover with two people on it. So I assumed it was a two-person thing. So... I didn't review the Arca because I just didn't get a chance to listen to it yet. I'm still considering it. So I'm still thinking about it. Still thinking about that dang Arca. Still thinking about it. Why are people saying R.I.P. Joe Rogan? Because like fucking we lost the best one in the game, man. Because Joe was great, And I do know there's a new Peggy track out, but I'm probably just going to talk about it in the weekly track roundup. All right, and the Caroline Rose I thought was okay. There were some kind of bland tracks on that one. The Panther Du Prince was not good at all. I do not get what he's doing at this point. Like, he had such a promising sort of path forward doing some really cool stuff in electronic music, and it seems like all he wants to do is like drift away from that into like this weird fucking tribal beat stuff that isn't even all that great, but whatever. And RIP Joe Biden too. Wow, fuck, we lost 2 Joes in one day. Joe Biden, Joe Budden, and Joe Rogan. 3 Joes in one day. Fuck. Lost a lot of Joes, man. What's happening to them? Why is he caught Ligma? Fuck. Joe Rogan caught Ligma? Wow. I can't believe it. And I have heard the new Mac Miller tracks. I'll be talking about those in the YNO review as well. And the PNL record sucks. I don't know why you guys are asking me for that. That is some mediocre ass fucking trap. The PNL record is not good at all. Like I know that maybe some of you guys are crazy about it because it's a French rap album, but it is sucky. It is not a good record. The production is bland as fuck. The flows are boring, and it just doesn't sound good. The Bambara I didn't really think was like, or Bambara, I didn't think it was that much greater than the last one, and I wasn't crazy about the last one either. So, I don't review NBA YoungBoy because I think he's boring. I have not listened to all of Frank Zappa's albums. And why did I skip the Ty Segall First Taste? Because I didn't think it was all that good. I thought a lot of the vocal performances on it were bad, actually. I believe I talked about that in the Why You Know review. I've not seen Parasite because I'm shit. I'm actually bad at seeing movies. So, I mean, I would not even ask me if I've ever seen a movie because I am terrible at seeing movies. I need to, people have been asking me about this snot guy. I need to check out this snot person. No one from Joe Rogan has asked me if I want to be on the podcast. I mean, if they did ask, I would consider it. Have I warmed up to Ben Frost's Aurora? Not really, sadly. It is the one review of yours I disagree with the most. Yeah, I've not really warmed up to that record, sadly. Hey, sorry for bombarding you, but we at Atlantis One were wondering what I thought of our song. I don't know if I had a time to listen. No, I'm not sure I have listened to you. I'll pop it in my phone, but I'm going to have to leave it at this, guys. You're the best. Thank you very much for giving generally during this charity stream. And once more on social media, I will keep you up to date on, I'll pop this in my phone too. I will keep you up to date on what the donation is and when I do it in the next few days or really this kind of coming week. All right. You're the best. I'll talk to you later.